Hello. Welcome to another time lapse. Today I decided to draw a creature that I've had stuck in my head for the past couple of weeks. But first, let's get a little bit closer. So in this case, I'm starting from the outside in. And this one is like coming out of an egg. So that's an egg. And I'm gonna draw this first and then I'm gonna make the creature. Like here I'm making the hand. I have different ways of approaching the creation of creatures and ambience. And this time I'm just drawing an image I've been seeing in my head. I've noticed this happens quite often, and it depends on whatever is going on in my life and with my mental health. This particular creature appeared to me, so to speak, after a domestic violence incident. I don't want to get into too much detail, but it's been a few weeks now since it happened, almost 2 months, and I'm doing much better now. I got my things back and I'm settled somewhere safe. During the first weeks, I didn't have any of my art stuff, so I couldn't make anything, and this is my outlet, so it made the situation harder for me. That's when this creature showed up while I was trying to process my feelings. I feel like this creature represents something, like, I don't know, a breakthrough or a rebirth. I don't know. It seems like it's breaking out of its shell and reaching out. Now, this part is just weird to me. You know when you're like too close to something and you don't really see it because you're too much involved in a way? Now that I am seeing it, like I'm editing the video, I noticed, oh shit, this looks like a shark. You know what I mean? It's like the hair is a fin. Am I making the birth of Kisame? You know, have you seen Naruto? You know, one of the Akatsuki's is like part shark. And I can see a few similarities. Except the one row of teeth, because sharks have like several, right? And you know they never run out of teeth. Like they grow teeth constantly, and they can have many in a lifetime. The hands don't make any sense though. I mean, if you compare them to Japanese dragons, yeah, sure, but not sharks, obviously. Another thing that I learned through this weird research is that not all sharks come from eggs. I thought they did, but they don't. And the eggs look nothing like, you know, the eggs that we see on a daily basis, like the ones you can buy and you eat on a daily basis. It looks nothing like it. They're like a spring, and not all of them are born from an egg. Sometimes, apparently, like the great white shark, that one is like developed inside the mother, but inside of an egg. Now, before I continue with my shark rant, I'm gonna start inking with this Pigma Micron 01. This is by far one of my favorite pens. I bought this, I don't know when, it's been a few years now, and it still has ink. And I remember talking about this with another artist, and she told me that she hates this size of the tip because it breaks. I don't know, I think it's just poor quality because mine, as you can see, is in perfect shape. It does the job exactly the way I like it. So, I don't know, I really like this brand. It doesn't fail. You know, I still have a lot of ink in this set for a while, so I'm not exactly worried, but the place where I used to buy this brand, Sakura, it closed. So I don't know where I'm gonna be buying it from now on. That sucks because it was very reliable and now it's gone. And here we go, doing the only row of teeth. And you want to know something interesting about sharks? I found a couple of interesting facts. They can apparently detect electricity. And you know, I always thought that they needed to swim in order to stay alive so they wouldn't, quote unquote, drown. But apparently they don't. Not all of them, maybe, but they can pump water into their gills while staying still. That's the Micron 02, by the way. It's a little bit thicker than the 01. And now I'm using Micron 04. So what I'm doing with this one, I'm retracing some of the lines so I can create a little bit of contrast and bring the attention into what I want. In this case, I want the attention on the creature, not the egg or the smoke behind them. For reference, the Pigma Micron 04 has a line of 0.4 millimeters, and the one that I used in the beginning, the 01, that one has a line of 0.25 millimeters. And the other one that I used is the 02. That one is 0.3 millimeters as well. The set that I have goes from 01 until 08, and 08 is 1.5 millimeters. Now I just used 01 for the details of the belly, and now I am doing the hatching. I use 01 for the details in the abdomen, and for the hatching, I'm using 02. I use this hatching technique that is very common in manga. I enjoy using this for texture and gradients. In this case, as you can see, I'm making a gradient. In the lower part is a lot closer each line, and now I'm making them further apart. My idea is to make the bottom part darker and it goes lighter upwards. I'm also using this technique to create shadow behind the creature. My idea for this part is to do a hatching technique that goes in 4 directions. Now I'm doing the third. I will use this technique, as you can see, also in the arms, in the lower part of the arms, and inside the mouth to create more dimension. This is more shadow, so we can understand where the arm actually ends, and the part of the egg in the background is. Let's remember that this is being a lot darker because the creature is casting a shadow over the inside of the egg. Now I'm adding more dimension, more details to make it look more interesting. Now, as I was saying before, we are using the same hatching technique to make the inside of the mouth darker. We add texture to the hair to make it look like hair. More details into the arms. Now back retouching the initial hatching that we had in the bottom. So the closer the lines are, the darker the area will be. So since I want the bottom to be a lot darker than everything else, I have to make a lot of lines in the 4 different directions so it will look like the way I want it. These are the horizontal lines. I hate the way this looks on camera, but whatever. These are the last lines that needed to be done. Now we are cleaning up the part of the egg. We are not touching the smoke in the background yet. Just cleaning up. Now we're using this pen, this is a 4B, to create like spots in the egg. I thought the egg was just too plain, so we are doing some details on it. It's gonna have like tiny little circles around it. They will be a little bit darker. I know that eggs that look like this actually exist. I don't know the name of the bird though. I know I've seen them. But this is just to make it more interesting. I'm using a very light hand for these details. As you can see, you can even see my hand most of the time when I use the 4B, because I grab the pen by the end of the pen. Unlike now that I'm using the pen a lot closer to the tip, because I want to be more precise with what I'm doing. But with the 4B, since I'm using it with my hand so far away from the tip, it's going to be lighter. Now with the ink, what I'm doing, as you can see, is dots. I didn't want to use lines again. I thought that dots would be a lot better in combination with the work that we just did with the 4B. And for this, I'm using the smallest one, the 01. By the way, if you like the background sound that I'm using, you can check them out on Freesound. The link of everything that I use from that site is on my bio. So now that we are done with the dots and the circles, we are going in with a 6B. We are going to be working in the smoke. again with a very light hand and using the pencil on the side. I usually do prepare the tip in a very particular way. I take my time doing that. I don't know if you'd be interested in seeing how I do it, but I don't use the typical thing you use to work your tips. I do it by hand and usually with a knife. If you'd like to see that, drop a comment and I'll make a short or something. I like the 6B a lot because you can be very precise depending on how you use it, in what angle you use it, and you can also be very gentle and create really cool shadows, but also definition like these lines in here. Now let's go back to sharks, because honestly I'm invested. Did you know that sharks lived alongside dinosaurs? I had no idea, and I really like this stuff, but I didn't know. So they appeared like over 100 million years before dinosaurs, which is crazy. And the dinosaurs went extinct and sharks are still here. They're really cool, like the cockroaches of the sea. Because if I remember correctly, cockroaches outlived the dinosaurs too, right? Or I don't know, I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you know. So as far as the smoke goes, I'm just gonna continue doing this all around the egg until I'm done. So the lines, then the shading. I'm gonna make some areas more darker than the others, and I'm gonna continue doing that all over. Now I'm using the same pen and in combination with the 4B to make all the other shadows. Now we are cleaning everything up. And this is the final result. What do you guys think? Don't forget to subscribe if you like this. And I'll see you again very soon.